Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a video response to Amber from Lavender Moon, and I wanted to show things that I've been loving lately. So recently, Amber has been posting decks that she's received, and one of them is the Goddess Dream Oracle. I love the imagery. I saw the flip through that she did, and I was told by my goddess that I do have a deck that I can do goddess work and connect with the Morgan with. So I have the Goddess Knowledge Oracle, and I'm covering the backs because I only use this with the Morgan. This is one that I did a meditation on the other day, and this is in a way a response to Mary Grace and Kasha from Tarot Map, because Mary Grace did the Scratching the Itch video where she talked about wanting to have a deck but going into your collection to see how you can scratch that itch. And Kasha did a video recently on the number 5 and the symbolism that could be thought of and used and interpreted when you're doing a reading. I really love it's, in a way, it's getting out of the comfort of number 4 and going into number 5. So there is the number 5 in the card, and these cards are amazing because you could turn them and you can get different imagery out of it. So with this card, you could see that she has one of her eyes open and she has the light here. So this, for me, was talking about anxiety that I had when I go to sleep, and I feel like with a lot of people with abilities have some things that can happen when they're in that mindset of trying to go to bed and maybe just having thoughts pop up or past experiences running through your mind. So the light denotes the light that I keep on, and you can also see that there's the different beings and animals here that can be chattering or keeping you up or remembering, and then there's the whale of some emotional experiences resurfacing. You can see that there's what looks like wings or something floral around her head, and that seems to be comforting. And it reminds me of maybe aromatherapy too. So I love how it kind of has a whimsical flow to it, and that there's meanings in different areas of the card, so whatever stands out to you, you can interpret at that time. I love the cardstock on here. I'm not sure if I want to cover the backs yet, but I try not to look at the backs. And I'm happy to bring this deck out because I've had it for a while. I got it in a trade from Mary Bow, and I've been wanting to use it, but I feel that when I read the backs, I don't get what I feel like I would like to get from the cards. But now, reading it like this, I feel a deep connection with them. So that was the first deck. I have a couple of decks to show. Before I get into the next deck, I just wanted to show another bag that I knitted. So I did another braided knitting pattern. I was thinking about doing it plain because I do love how the inside looks, but I tend to feel like I would like to have some more interesting stuff happen when I'm knitting, because it can get a little boring when I'm just doing the straightforward knitting. But I love how it looks subtle still. Because it is a variegated yarn, you can see the striping in the yarn. I still have some left, so I'll have my chance to do a plain swatch. Another deck that was, in a way, scratching the itch is when I got the Raven's Prophecy Tarot. I have a couple of Raven and Crow decks that I do enjoy working with, but it didn't really connect to that totem for me. But this one completely does. And I want to say it's scratching the itch because I was gifted the Raven's Prophecy, but it was trimmed, and I still loved it. But the imagery seemed a little darker because it didn't have the contrast of the orange, so I'll just flip through. I've done a couple of recent videos on this deck. I really feel like the imagery is in the perspective of a raven. If a raven were to choose imagery for a deck, I feel like they would choose something more earthy or something that they see in everyday life. So that was my second deck that I showed. I've been feeling purple lately when choosing my decks. I have used the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, but I'm happy that I brought out my Czech edition of the Shadowscapes Tarot. I actually have the original size that I got when I was still up north. That's in the trader sell pile, because I've been wanting this size. The images are really detailed. I hope that the creators still get profit from this edition, but I see that the names are still on here, so I'm thinking that they could. And there's a brand on here, where that's the date that the image was created. No, there's a brand. So this isn't so readily available in America. The price is higher, so I did have to do a international order for this one. So I'll put this card to the side. This is how big they are. And they are a decent size. I love that you can see the imagery a lot better. I did write and edge the deck in silver. It is funny because the other day I went to get those markers and I was wondering, I had 3 of them and I was like, why do these barely have ink? Because I went over the gilding because it wasn't taking the marker very well. Because this one has gold gilding. I prefer silver. So this isn't the most purple image, but it is the cups suit. So I do correlate it with the purple, and also because the backs and the deck in general is. And I also got, with the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands. So amazing. And I love the Crystal Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. It's the only crystal oracle that I use. So for the past few days, I've been meditating on Charite. So all these cards came up on the same day, and I was drawn to using more of a purple deck. And before Charite, I was actually using Aquamarine. I love stuff in card form. I even use the Ogham in card form, and I'm almost finished creating my Ogham deck. So I feel like I'll release that around the same time of my tarot deck, but not exactly the same time because I want to see how my other deck does. So for crystals, even though I just said I love stuff in card form, I have a few crystals that I use. And one of them is the selenite wand. And I use it to charge and absorb any energy from my decks. They have them in disc form, but since I had this for a while and I got it first, I just have the wand because I feel like if I were to get the disc, I might use this less. And right now I want to, and going forward, I would like to use my stuff more. So I'll put some stuff in their bags in case. I just have one more thing. I would like to do more herbalist favorites. Because I'm an herbalist. In case you guys, if I didn't say it in recent videos, it's what I went to school in college for. So my last favorite is the capsule machine. I'm just showing this because the capsules are put away because it's in a large container, and I'm currently using dandelion leaf. Well, I've been using it for the past few months. I started at the end of the year, and I'm using it for different reasons, but mainly to have my GI tract be healthier. So before I get into the dandelion, in case you haven't seen the capsule machine, this one's for 00. There are different capsule sizes. This is to press down on the herbs or what you're putting into the capsules. They have a spreader card. It has a thickness to it. This is what you lay the box down on. Then you take that out when you're pressing on it. The two main parts are where you put the capsules in, and they have different heights too, so you'll know which part to put in what, and then you can use this part to push them out. So dandelion is one of my favorite herbs. It's an underrated herb at this time since most people see it as a weed, and it's high in fiber, which is great because it's important for your diet. And when you don't have a lot of fiber, you tend to go for more food to fill up what your body is craving. So it's not necessarily the best thing if you're going for things that aren't the healthiest. It's also a bitter tonic, which is generally great for the digestive system. It also gives you more energy because it's able to metabolize sugar and burn the sugar and metabolize it into energy. Since I take it in the morning, it's helpful too because it keeps me energized, but you might want to have something to fill up your stomach too afterwards or around that time, because it's going to be really releasing the toxins out of your body. I would say that if you are going to use this to stay hydrated, because it is drying, it does have many properties as herbs do. They're usually multifaceted. This one is antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal, generally a great herb to have in your arsenal for herbs if you're interested in taking them. I was going to say something else. There are different forms and different parts of the herb that you can use. Right now I'm using dandelion leaf. I love taking the herbs in capsule form because you don't have to taste the herb. So if you want, you can put it in your cuisine. I mean, there are some markets that actually carry dandelion there, and it's an inexpensive herb to have. You can put it in your salads too to give it more of that flavor. So that was my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was interesting, and